Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mary Elizabeth Jones's Friday Hour.
Hello. Hello, kids. I'm wearing two glasses. What world am I living in?
Yeah,
What's the weather like out here?
kind of hot. Yeah.
And my name is Kaye Lazar. We have a whole bunch of birds here. I think these are the most birds I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Um, it is when I came here, there was birds everywhere, and which means bird poop everywhere.
Yeah.
So we found the one place that doesn't have it. Which is there was birds. There's even birds on this table, and I shoot them all away. That's why I'm talking very loud for a change. I
Yeah.
don't have that little squeak that I usually have. Squeak,
Right.
squeak like a mouse. What a nice breeze. Let's see. What can I? How are you enjoying? We're probably in the middle of the summer right now. How are you enjoying it, Mary Elizabeth?
Pretty good. Yes.
What have you been doing?
I had a nice 4th of July.
What'd you do?
I went to a cookout at a friend's house.
Yeah,
And
I
then
love cookouts.
I do too. And then I went to a church cookout on Sunday.
That's what I know about.
Yeah.
Whoa, keep talking.
So
One of my crops just fell.
I hope you all have a good 4th of July. I hope y'all had good food and everything. So.
One thing I didn't count on was I think it's the first time it's ever happened that something blew away. What happened was, yeah, I was at the same cookout you were at.
Yeah.
And it was moved from one place to another.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
It was going to be in a park, in a pavilion,
Yeah.
and then somebody else was already at the pavilion. See, if people don't reserve the pavilion,
Yeah.
then it's first come first serve. And some people, are there. But if park opens at 8 o'clock, they're there at 8:02.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and they save it all day. You come in there. You might be able to go in there and read a book or something, but you can't start using the grill or anything.
Yeah.
So then they moved it to a pool party, and that was fun. But trouble is, when you move it somewhere, not everyone gets the message.
Yeah.
So you have to. It's really weird what happens. You have to wait. The people organizing it has to have someone there to wait for everyone who comes and say, it's somewhere else now, and here are the directions.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, some people don't know how to use the internet or messages or Facebook or anything.
Yeah.
My dad had a hard time with the internet. He didn't like the internet at all. He spent like 90 years without the internet. So when they changed the TV set on him, the remotes and the cable and everything,
Yeah.
he had to push a number, enter, and then another thing, enter, and then my dad was just getting so frustrated that he was ready to throw it out the way. I think he was going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
So I call up the people. I won't mention their names, Xfinity, and they said, well, we'll send your dad an email that'll explain how to work it. I said, he doesn't have email. He doesn't know how it works. So, and trouble is when you go to a church thing. One thing about churches, you're always going to have old people there. I mean, you could be 70 years old and still be the youngest person there, especially when it comes to barbecues. But it was good. In fact, it was a really good barbecue. They had fish, and they had pork. They had pork, and it was like the pork you get at the barbecue place. And they were going to smother it in sauces. No, I like it just the way it is. And so they left some for me that wasn't smothered that way. And it's called shoulder. Actually, the term for it is pork shoulder. Now, shoulder, if you know anything about meat, like you probably know beef shoulder or beef brisket or something. That's the tough meat that takes all day to cook. You use it in stews. It's not but it's good when you cook it right. And this guy cooked the shoulder all day long, and then when it was time to eat it, it was delicious. Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. So that was my favorite part of the barbecue.
Yeah.
And so thank the people. I love going to barbecues. I love. Oh, by the way, one last thing I gotta say. we were the first people at the barbecue, only because we were bright enough to get to the first place first, and then they said we're moving it to another place, a movable feast. So while we were there, we had to wait for everybody to come and then wait for the food. Now, my rules about barbecues are my rules about barbecues: never be the first one at a barbecue because the food is not out. The food is still raw. The hamburger is still raw. You might eat the hot dogs don't take too long to cook, but then you wind up eating a lot of hot dogs, filling yourself up with hot dogs, and you want to save it for the pork and the chicken and the hamburger and everything. So we were the first ones there. I was actually after an hour of waiting for food. You know what? I was all out of small talk.
Yeah.
I only have but so much. I have about 10 or 20 jokes, sort of Bob Hope type jokes when I talk to people. Yeah. Boy, it was really fast. I really had a hard time getting here. You know, that type of. And then once I'm finished that, I don't want to talk anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to know my personal life or anything.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
So you think it's so exciting?
What?
My personal life.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
No.
A big bore. But I don't want anyone to know that. So it's just a barrage of jokes and everything. And then I'm finished.
Yeah.
And then come time to eat, no one really cares what you said anyway in the first place. They're just eating. Oh, by the way, and I tell this to people all the time, if you ever, and I'll repeat it, if you ever need to borrow money from someone or borrow money from a bank or get a job or apply for a job or what's the other thing, get a bank loan, always go after lunch because the people have already eaten and they're already feeling good. Before, if you do it at 11 a.m., everyone's in a bad mood. I actually went to the bank because I had to do it during lunchtime, and I changed my lunchtime to 11 o'clock. Went to the bank, and I did not. This was a few years ago. I did not get my bank loan, and then I'm not kidding you. Then like a week later, I went to a different person in the afternoon. Oh, here you go, Mr. Lazar. Sign on the dotted line, and we'll give you your $3. Give you your $23. Let's see. And tell me. Oh, we have a big weekend this week. We are going to be making a movie.
Making a 48-hour filming project.
Well, yes, and we've we had we've done about a dozen of these already,
Yeah.
and they're all on the internet. You might see me and Mary Elizabeth in different parts. I mean, different. I have a big part. She has a small part. She has a big part. I have a small part. You know, that type of thing. But we're all there, and I'm going to try to put as many of them on my page as possible. The lot of these. I think the first time we did it, we got like second prize, and we did very well. Then since then, it's been the critics haven't cared for our work. However, at the end of it all that matters is not, all that matters is what shows up on the screen, and we made the films, so we don't know what the film's going to be about this weekend. So a few of them I actually had pretty big parts in, but I think they try to put a different star in as well. You were actually the star of one, a Halloween one, a horror one.
Yeah.
Tell me about that one.
It was called
You can check it on YouTube. What's it called?
I'm trying to think what it's called.
Here come the
freaks. That's what.
Here come the freaks, and they cast us both in it. How about that?
Yeah.
You were the star.
Yeah.
You're a good actor. You played a non-freak playing a freak. Well, I mean, look. There are certain people in horror movies that had a good career, like Christopher Lee or Boris Karloff or Bela Lugosi. That's all. Basically, that's all they did.
Yeah.
I mean, you might see them otherwise in a few things.
Yeah.
Vincent Price.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe I could have a future in horror movies as a mad scientist. I think I'd be good.
Yeah.
Have that wild hair and everything.
And then we have a wedding to go to afterwards.
Yeah, then we'll do that. Yeah, not our own.
No.
But we'll talk about that maybe next week after it happens.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Because I don't want people to know that. I don't want people to know where it is. However, the movie you could see a week later at the Botox Cinema. So I don't even know what the title of it is called. So we'll worry about that. Anyway, speaking of where we're going this weekend, have you picked your gift?
I have not yet.
No. Let me tell you something, because I was thinking about gift giving, and I found out the best gift to give anybody. It's a gift card. You just give it to them, and then they use it
Yeah.
at a restaurant or at Target or at Starbucks. Those seem to be the most. When I was a kid, the most popular gifts were those um, lifesaver books.
Oh yeah.
But that was never much for hard candy.
They're popular around Christmas time too.
Well, that's what I mean, Christmas time. And they were always trouble with those lifesaver books was that they had all the flavors you didn't want.
Yeah.
Some people love wintergreen. I thought wintergreen was chalky and too sharp. I like my favorite lifesavers tropical fruits
Yeah.
and fancy fruits
Yeah.
because they had they had, they had a grapefruit one that's very good
Yeah.
and a grapefruit jelly belly or those jelly beans. And in real life, I can't stand I can't stand grapefruit,
Yeah.
but the candy version I like, the fake version.
Yeah.
I and so did you? Okay, so I asked about what's like some of the best gifts you ever got? How Christmas or your birthday, graduation. When I was graduating, think about it, when I was graduating, everyone got those cross pens, those fancy ballpoint pens.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, and in those days, I mean, it was a lot of money then, $25 for one of those things. And for a pen you could buy for like 60 cents at the store, that big pen. And but I think I still have my cross pens because you always have to buy new pens for it, new cartridges for it. Oh, speaking of pens, I was in Arizona with a friend of mine, and I was visiting this woman I used to work with, and she was showing me her time how she's living in Arizona, and she drove me to a bookstore, and I think she wrote, in those days wrote a check, and she left her pen there. And we were in the car, and we went about a mile down. She goes, "I got to turn back. I left my pen." What's the big deal? What's the big deal? It's a pen. It's not. It's not like it's a Mont Blanc or a Waterman pen. She goes, "It was a Waterman pen." I said, "Well, we better go."
Yeah. I used to love those regular pens like Hello Kitty
Okay.
and Karapi.
Yeah. I like the pen. I like the paper. Was it Paper Mate? Paper Mate pens. The ones with the arrow on them.
Oh yeah.
And that you clip on. But you always had to buy cartridges for them. You know what? I tell you, the best pens are, and it's not rocket science. Bic and all those other pens are cheaper pens, and you know why they're cheaper?
Why?
Because they don't use real liquid ink. They use like a gel, like a gelatin that's wet, and that's what writes.
Yeah.
If you actually open up one of those big pens, you'll see the gelatin in there, and it does, and but it's an improvement to some extent because the old pens that were all liquid would leak in your pocket all the time and ruin your clothes, especially if you're wearing a white shirt.
Yeah.
So I've ruined. I mean, when I was a kid, and the fancier the pen, the more likely. So the more likely you ruin something and you get it all over your hand, all over your fingertips. I still do that with really fancy pens. It gets all over the tops of your. You've been writing with your quill lately.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, my sister Maeve, she hates old-fashioned movies that take place long ago.
Yeah.
She doesn't like any movie where the people write with a feather. That was the only way. There was no typewriters in those.
Yeah.
And so okay. So the good pens have the liquid ink, and sometimes you can buy a pretty good pen for like $3 or so. that has liquid in it, but they also leak too
Yeah.
if you don't let them go.
Yeah.
I also so sometimes the best gift you could give somebody is like a bunch of colored markers, especially a kid, because they
Yeah.
can color their coloring books with all
Yeah.
the different color markers, draw pictures with all the colored markers. And then there's I love and then what else can I tell you about pens? Do you ever use those markers, El Marcos or something? And they have that smell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that if before I grew up and started taking hallucinogens in college, that was what got me high. Very dangerous. All those things. The only reason why I bring this up was at work a few weeks ago. I had to make a little sign with one of those. You know, the cabinet always has one of those things that I wrote, and it almost like brought back all the memories from when I was a kid. Once I started writing, and then the person in the next cubicle said, "Oh, I smell that too. I smell that too." Yeah, at the law firm. So anyway, you know, and so I mentioned gift cards. I'll tell you another good gift. I gave you this gift. It is a neon sign with your name on it.
Yeah.
Yes. And I all my family. I have a big family. We're almost like the King family. We're like the Osmonds, only we don't get along. No, I come from a big family, so we're always giving gifts. And you're running out, and you want to know the truth. I don't want anything. I got everything I need. I'm actually a hard guy to shop for, actually, because I have everything I need. I'm not a real. I like experiences. I like travel. You know, good food, things that are here today, gone tomorrow. All I want at this point, because I got plenty of stuff. I got all the books. I got books I haven't read, but I still have a lot of books I have read. You know, you should actually give away your books.
Yeah.
You should give away everything. Your record. Well, no, your records. Records are LPs and CDs and even cassette tapes, whatever, or MP3s or whatever. Those things you play over and over again.
Yeah.
So they're like the best gifts.
Yeah.
If you know that they, people would always give me
The records were the best gifts that I've been getting.
records. Yeah.
Yeah, Christmas.
Yeah. What? Anyone in particular that really any performer? Because we're going to talk about the CDs later.
Stevie Wonder.
You really? I mean, was it like? How old were you when you got it?
I was in my early 30s.
Oh, I was. I thought it might have been in your teens, and because it came a point in my teens that I was bought anything I wanted. I bought,
Yeah.
so I was a hard guy to buy. It said Kevin has his eye on that Bruce Springsteen album. Whoop, look, no, we already bought it. We can't buy him that. He doesn't need two of Born to Run.
I got that album back.
Born to Run. Yeah. So anyway, so then eventually they gave me the gift card, so I could take it to Sam Goody or Harmony Hut or Peaches and get whatever I want, what I don't have, and then I could say, okay, the next Bee Gees album or the next Elton John album or whatever people listened to in those days, uh, Pearl Jam. I'll say it's from you because you gave me the card so I could buy it and I would use it that way. So there you go. See how easy that is.
Yeah.
So that's why cards are so good. Uh, and then so anyway, I got this neon sign with Mary's name on it. So I have members of my family with really weird names, Irish names like Fanula and Emer and Una. And when they and I joked about this when they go to the tourist what's the place the gold not the Golden Corral, the other one, the one with all the country food and the gift shop.
Oh,
Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel. And they have all those license plates with their names on it.
Yeah.
There are no Emer or Una or Fanula.
Yeah.
It's just Mary and Bill. Now Kevin. When I was a kid, there wasn't too many Kevins.
Yeah.
So I got a neon sign with one of my sister's names on it and gave it to her. And when she lit it up, she had never seen her name in lights before. And she said, "This is the best gift I've ever gotten." And I said, Yeah, thank you. So go on Temu, or you can go almost anywhere on the internet, and they'll personalize one for you. It's worth the money. Okay. The other thing I gave, and this is a great gift. This is probably even better than that gift. You know what it is?
Yeah. But,
It didn't cost me hardly anything. You uh, you get a thumb drive, and you download all the photographs of your family, or you know, you and or your friends or family, or whatever. Download them all. Put the home movies on there if they're done with video cameras and everything. Whatever's on YouTube or anything, download Facebook, download all of that stuff. Put it on a thumb drive and then give it to somebody and said, the house burns down, you still have this, has everything on there. So you see what a great idea that was. And in my case, our family, there's a lot of movies that there's home movies and photos and all this stuff. But a lot of my family has appeared in movies as you know, like the movies we're talking about, the 48-hour movies, but also as an extra in movies like Swagger and Dope Sick, what we were in, but also other movies that I've been in with big stars and stuff. And I downloaded those on there, and I said, you know, at 1 hour and 5 minutes and 30 seconds, you'll see Dad walk by, or you'll see your little sister when she was 12 years old walk by, or something. Yeah. So that's, you know, put all that on a thumb drive, and they will be so happy to get that. The only problem is it's a constant. Every after I give it to somebody, there's already 2 or 3 weeks worth of stuff that I haven't put on there. That I mean that has happened since then. You know, that I have to put on there. So get a bigger thumb drive for next time.
yeah.
Okay. And my dad loved this. This was like a great gift to my dad. He used to love getting stamps. You like postage stamps and stuff? Do you still mail letters and stuff? Maybe the bills.
Well, I like
Not as much as we used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. I don't send as much. I send the garbage bill and stuff. The water bill. So I've noticed that they're having a hard time selling stamps at the post office, and they're very expensive, like 75 cents each.
Yeah.
But if you buy a lot of them in bulk, and I thought this was a scam when I first got it. Today I got some stamps in the mail. I got like $100 worth of. I paid $100 worth of stamps, but I think I got something like $500 worth of value of stamps. They're forever stamps, which means when the price goes up, what's going on here? They don't like my discussion about stamps.
Yeah.
So I will show you the stamps I got. I'm not going to show you all of them. I'm just going to show you the 4 types of stamps I got. And these, and you know, you give them to, you know, you could buy them even cheaper than that. I mean, I don't know how they get them so cheap. I think they were selling them for pennies to the wholesaler, and then the wholesaler sells them to you at a discount, which is great.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like 75 cents a stamp now.
Yeah.
So if you buy $100 worth and you get $500 worth, I mean, there's probably as many stamps as I could use, but I give them away. And I'll tell you why I give them away. Because people, when they always want to have stamps when they need them. And you remember the Elvis stamp?
Oh yeah.
You remember? I remember, yeah.
We have a Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix one too.
Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix stamp. Of course. I said that those stamps, there was a problem with those stamps. You know that? When you lick the side of it, you got you got an acid trip.
Really?
No, I mean, because you know, that's how LSD was shown. People licked it off a stamp, not a. They made the stamps, and so that's what they. Oh, I got a joke about that. You know, what's his name was on a stamp? Paul Newman, and Paul Newman. I went to buy the Paul Newman stamps, and I met, you know, me with the jokes, me with the humor. They said, I said, you know, I understand if you lick the back of these stamps, it tastes like Paul Newman's salad dressing. And the woman that was wearing the postal uniform behind the desk says, "You do not lick these stamps; they are self-adhesive." I said, well, you know the joke. You used to lick the stamps and they taste like the salad dressing. No, I just told you, you don't lick the stamps. You just peel them and put them on the envelope. So, okay. And so I paid my money and left. And then I realized why the Postal Service every once in a while take a shotgun and start shooting everyone in the post office, because they're probably very high strung people. They work very hard, or the stress is always there. It never stops. So I said, I'm not going to bother postal workers ever again. So okay, let me show you the stamps. Okay. Well, this is let me show them in order. Okay, this is a stamp. These are all kind of recent stamps that came out in the last year or so. This is a guy called Alan Toussaint.
Oh, I never heard of him.
Well, you probably never heard of him. Hope you see him all right. Alan Toussaint was a songwriter, and he wrote a lot of popular songs. He wrote a song called "Working in the Coal Mine,"
Oh yeah.
and he wrote the song "Mother-in-Law." And he was a jazz performer. The two most famous songs he wrote. I'll tell you one. The one everyone knows in a moment. Called Java, which Al Hurt had a hit with. You know, and that's really good. But the other song he wrote became a country hit for Glenn Campbell, and it was called Southern Nights.
Oh.
Southern Nights, how I meant it all the Southern Nights. I have a friend that's like his favorite song. So anyway, so I told my friend, I'm not going to mention his name, Gorgeous George. He told me, I said, I met the guy this is the guy, Alan Toussaint. He died a few years ago, but I met him in New York. I didn't really meet him. I waved at him. I recognized who he was. I went to see Little Richard at B.B. King's, and Alan Toussaint was standing by the stage, waiting, I think, to be introduced by Little Richard. And Little Richard introduced him. There's Alan Toussaint, everybody, take a bow. And I think he was waiting to be brought on stage to play with Little Richard, but I don't think Little Richard had wanted any of that. This is Alan Toussaint. I always thought his name was pronounced Toussaint, like a French name, but evidently he pronounced it Toussaint. So there's Toussaint.
Yeah.
So this is Alan. So I want to take a look at that while I hold up the other one. It's Black Heritage. Every year they have a African American celebrity that has died and like that. Okay. Now, this one's near to my heart. I love baseball, especially as a kid. And this was one of the best. His name was Hank Aaron. And Hank Aaron beat Babe Ruth's home run record. And I think it was 714 home runs. He eventually hit 755 home runs. And he was kind of an old man when he retired. He played for the Atlanta Braves. He played for the Milwaukee Braves, and then at the end he played for the Milwaukee Brewers as their designated hitter. Now, Henry Aaron, his record has since been broken by Barry Bonds with like over 800 home runs. But Barry Bonds probably took a lot of steroids, so a lot of people think it's not a real record. It's an asterisk record. So Henry Aaron. So I was very happy to get these Henry Aaron stamps. I'll send them to all my baseball fans. All right. So there's it. Okay. Now there's something near to dear to Mary and my heart here. This is Carnival Nights.
Yes.
Now Mary and I used to work at a carnival at King's Dominion. We go to the carnival all the time. The Chesterfield Carnival, the State Fair, Virginia. We go about once a year to that together, and I just love carnivals. Love it. Yeah. And so I hope to be back announcing there next this September. So.
Yes.
So if you think you hear my voice, go. But these are so beautiful. There's like
they're beautiful.
They're very colorful. There's a tilt-a-wheel and the spider and the Ferris wheel and the roller coaster and all the rides. at night, carnival nights. Oh, by the way, there's a movie called not North by Northwest, Strangers on a Train, which Throw Mama from the Train is a kind of a remake of. It's a Hitchcock film, and at the end of the movie, there's a shootout on a merry-go-round. It goes out of control, and they're shooting, and they keep missing, and then the thing kind of swirls around, and then off its spinner, and then crashes, killing the villain. And they asked Alfred Hitchcock, why did you do that stunt at the end? And he said, because he was the master of scary stuff, master of suspense. He said, because the merry-go-round is the safest ride on at the carnival, and thus he wanted it to be scary for a change there.
Yeah.
I have one last one. This will really knock your socks off. Bet you didn't know that she had her own stamp.
Betty White.
Betty White. Now you know Betty White from the Golden Girls.
Yes.
The last living Golden Girl, last surviving one, I should say. But then she died. She died like a week or 2 weeks before her 100th birthday or something. Yeah. But she was a beloved performer, and everyone liked Betty White. She hosted Saturday Night Live. She was on, I think, one of the first TV shows in 1947. Those shows to the public. So now Betty White has her own stamp. So these are I'm doing an ad. I feel like I'm doing an ad for the for the postal service. So listen, you can get even cheaper stamps with just flags on them or something. But for the most part, I got these because I never really collected stamps until I try to keep one that's unused. Because a stamp that's canceled is not worth it all. But I have a good collection of stamps, of all the commemorative stamps of the last 20, 30 years. And I just love stamps.
Yeah.
And once they used to put like presidents and statesmen and politicians and intellectuals on there. But then I think starting with Elvis, they started putting movie stars and ball players and rock and roll singers and jazz singers and country music singers, and I like those better. More reason to buy them. They figured there was a strategy to it when Elvis had his own stamp. So many people were buying those stamps to keep, not to use. So nothing is just pure profit for the postal service to sell stamps and not and have them not used. I remember buying the Elvis stamp, and I was like the first one in my office to buy the Elvis stamp. And everyone got so excited. He goes, "Can I have one? Can I have one? Can I have one?" And in those days, they were like 29 cents, which, added up. It was like several dollars if I gave one to everybody. I said, listen, give me your phone, give me your address. I'll send you a Christmas card, and I'll put the stamp in there. I could use the stamp for it. Yeah. You could tear it off the envelope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I think there's a stamp in here. Where is it? Maybe it's the Allen Toussaint stamp. Okay, you see how dark this stamp is? I'll give you a little secret. You see how, not the man himself, who's African, but you see the black around him? The black, it's like a black wall behind him. When they stamp that, you can't see the cancellation. So what does that mean? When you get something looking like that, you tear it off the envelope and use it again.
Yeah.
Though with this price, you don't really have to do that. So that's my primer on buying gifts. What best gifts I ever got? Probably money. Because I always need more money. I don't need more George Foreman grills.
Yeah.
I have one. I don't need a second one. I already have one I don't use. I don't need two I don't use. Oh man. Anyway, we are. Oh, I'm only getting started. Can I come back for the second half?
Of course.
It's not a cooking demonstration. I hope.
Of course. Yeah.
We have all this poultry around us. I'm getting hungry. All right.